What if I told you that the fat sitting around your belly right now is not just stored energy, it's actually functioning like a rogue organ, pumping out chemicals that are silently destroying your body from the inside? This isn't a metaphor. This is what the science actually shows, and most doctors don't explain it this way. Let's talk about visceral fat, the fat that wraps around your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, and your intestines, and why it is fundamentally different from the fat you can pinch on your arm or your thigh. Subcutaneous fat, the kind under your skin, is relatively harmless. Visceral fat is a completely different animal. A landmark study published in the journal Obesity in 2012 by researchers at Harvard Medical School found that visceral fat actively secretes over 20 different inflammatory chemicals called adipokines and cytokines directly into your portal vein, the blood vessel that feeds straight into your liver. Think about that. Your belly fat has its own dedicated delivery system pumping inflammatory signals into your most vital organ around the clock. One of the most dangerous chemicals it releases is called interleukin-6, or IL-6. Elevated IL-6 is directly linked to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even Alzheimer's disease. Another is resistin, a hormone that makes your cells resistant to insulin, accelerating metabolic disease even in people who eat a healthy diet. And then there's tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF-alpha, which triggers chronic systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. A 2019 study from the Mayo Clinic found that people with high visceral fat had a 40% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease even when their overall body weight appeared normal. This is what researchers call TOFI, thin outside, fat inside, and it affects an estimated 30 million Americans who have no idea they're at risk because their BMI looks fine. Here's how visceral fat accumulates so aggressively. Cortisol, your stress hormone, specifically drives fat storage in the abdominal region by activating receptors that are 4 times more concentrated in visceral fat than anywhere else in your body. This means chronic stress doesn't just affect your mood, it is literally building a toxic organ in your midsection. Fructose metabolism is another major driver. Research from UC Davis published in 2009 showed that subjects who consumed fructose-sweetened beverages for just 10 weeks gained significantly more visceral fat compared to those consuming glucose, even with identical calorie intake. The liver converts fructose to fat at a dramatically higher rate than any other sugar. Now here's the good news, because there absolutely is good news. Visceral fat is actually the most metabolically responsive fat in the body. It responds faster to lifestyle interventions than any other fat depot. A 2021 study in the Journal of Hepatology found that just 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise per week, that's just over 20 minutes per day, reduced visceral fat by an average of 14% in 12 weeks without any dietary changes. Sleep is equally critical. Research from the University of Chicago found that people sleeping just 5 hours per night accumulated 55% more visceral fat over 16 weeks compared to those sleeping 5 hours, same food, same activity. And time-restricted eating, specifically an 8-hour eating window, showed a 14 to 18% reduction in visceral fat markers in a 2022 trial at the University of Alabama. The 3 most evidence-backed interventions right now are, first, daily Zone 2 cardio, a 30-minute brisk walk genuinely works. Second, cutting liquid fructose sources like soda and juice completely. And third, prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Your belly fat is not just a cosmetic issue. It is an active biological threat. But the science is clear, you can shrink it faster than almost any other health problem you face.